Hi, this is Christian with the Featherweight Shop. Here I have our 4 Wera screwdrivers and I'm going to show you where they're used on the Featherweight. We'll start here in the head of the machine. We've got this screw that it loosens, this one here, the needle clamp screw here, and then also the take-up lever screw, and this is a reverse threaded screw here. Because the screwdriver is so long, we're able to reach above the machine to get the needle plate screws out. It works really well. Here underneath the needle plate, we've got the 2 feed dog screws. Works good for those. Here we've got the spool pin cover plate screw. When you loosen this one and other screws, it's a good idea to have your fingers at the tip of the screwdriver so that the screwdriver doesn't go sliding off the machine and scratch it. Stop back motion knob screw here. Here we've got these 2 stitch length indicator screws. Works well for those. This machine here has the school bell bobbin winder, so it's got the screw here on the front. Works good for that screw, and it also works with all the other bobbin winder tension unit screws. Here underneath the spool pin cover plate, it works for the screws here on the gear and the rocker arm. Underneath the machine we've got the wiring bracket screws, the gear screws to adjust timing, the hook assembly set screws, even the bed cushion screws. Almost all the screws underneath the machine can be loosened using the long Wera screwdriver. The screws on the hook assembly, the set screws here, do not have a large head and they're hard to remove, so it's important that you do not damage those heads as you're removing the screws. The long Wera screwdriver has the perfect size tip to fit in that screw there. These hook assembly set screws can be accessed from this point right here underneath the machine. Before we started using the Wera screwdrivers, and specifically the long one, we had to use a heat gun to heat up this screw when it needed loosened. Now with the long shaft, we can get more torque and we no longer have to use heat when we loosen these screws. This screwdriver also works on all the screws for the foot controller, both the ones that hold the foot controller together and the ones on the inside to adjust the foot controller. The first place is the motor pulley. We use a small screwdriver on both the Bakelite and metal style motor pulley screws. The next places are the 3 screws on the bobbin case. There's the 2 here on the bobbin case spring. And then the one really small one here on the inside, that one holds on the bobbin case latch. The screwdriver works for that one as well. Probably the most important screw that we use the small Wera screwdriver to loosen is the gib hook screw. It's the one that you remove when you get a thread jam and have to take out the bobbin case base, and it is often really tight. Wera has made these screwdrivers for us with an extra long shaft so we can get more torque as we're loosening this screw. If you have to replace the entire gib hook, you can also use the small Wera screwdriver to loosen the gib hook mounting screw on the back side of the hook assembly. I'll start here at the back of the machine. We can use the screwdriver on the terminal screw here, the screw that holds the motor on, and it works really good for this one because with this plastic coating, it's not going to mar up the finish of the machine if you bumped it. Also works well on the screws that hold the motor together. This one here on the bottom, and this matching one here at the top. And then also on the motor cap screw works great for that one as well. So with the machine turned at this angle, you can see the bed extension screw here, which it works great for, and also the bobbin winder screw. Behind the faceplate, we have the large screw that holds the take-up lever on. Here on the light housing, we have this screw here that holds the light housing on, and then we also have a screw on the inside of the machine that holds the wires onto the light housing. And there's also several screws underneath the machine that you would use a screwdriver for if you were doing a complete disassembly or adjusting your feed dogs. We'll start here on this end of the machine. It loosens the tension unit stud screw here. the screw that holds on the take-up spring stop bracket, and then this screw here that holds on the needle bar bushing. So here on the needle plate, we've got these two screws. Loosens those ones. These ones hold on the positioning plate bracket. And then also the two screws that hold on the positioning plate bracket springs. Here on the hook assembly, it loosens the loop guard screw. Also, this screw here behind the light housing, that screw holds the light socket into the light housing. And finally, we have the Bakelite plug screws. Works great for these as well. If you have any questions about the screwdrivers, feel free to give me a call here in the shop. I'm always happy to help.